Hi everyone, this is the recording for part 2 of Module 5. We are sneaking up on the end here. We'll talk more about that at the end of this. Right now we're going to be looking at M5 S4 career paths. That's just a pretty quick thing, click right here. Yeah, pretty much one of the main points behind this class is that you choose well in your career. There's no wrong career to pick. In global terms, it's just wrong for you. It's wrong for right now. If you want to be a social worker, that's one of the I pick social work because that's one of the least returns on your investment. You get a college degree and you make the least amount of money. If you want to do that, go do it. Just understand the ramifications. And we live in a very interesting world. Because you have so many career paths in front of you, and when this is going to define you a lot. That statement that was made that last in M5S in Module 5 Part 1, there was a part where it made a statement that your career does not define you, and I've been rolling that around in my head and I can't get it. It really does define you. I'm a teacher. And I've been a teacher for a long time, and people know me as a teacher. And being a teacher, working around teaching, learning how to be a better teacher, these are the things that made me, kind of define my life. Now, there are other things that define my life. I'm a father, I'm a volunteer, I'm a son. So, I have lots of other things that define me, but that was a main one. And picking that particular career path is going to be it's going to be something that defines you. So you want to pick well. So if you're going to pick, you've heard the old saying, here's a better one. Let me say the old saying first. You've heard the old saying that if you have a job that's something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. There are a lot of people who love their jobs. There are a lot of people who go, man, I get to do this every day. How cool is it? I've always thought that being a professional baseball player would be really cool because all you do is play baseball all day, and I know it's hard work, but I would have loved to have been working hard at that to become a better baseball player. I just didn't have the ability to play baseball. Anyway, here's one from Steve Jobs. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. This is exactly what we're talking about. Okay, if you want to do great work, love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then keep looking. And Steve nailed it. Okay, now I don't know how to think about this in other jobs because I've been a teacher all my life, and I really do love it. I love teaching. I love the freedom it gives me and the flexibility it gives me in my personal life. I love influencing people in a positive way. I love imparting knowledge. I love my kids. My kids that I teach on a daily basis make me feel better. I like hanging out with them, and for some weird reason they seem to like me. I have people come up. I have a lady whose daughter is a friend of mine, daughters, and Mr. Thomas was my favorite teacher in high school. I taught this lady 20 years ago. So how cool is that as an influence? Anyway, whatever you're picking, make sure you love it. And I've said it before, and I've said it, and I'll say it this one more time. Right now, the whole world is your oyster. You can literally go do anything you want to do. Go find the job that is going to make you fulfilled for the rest of your life. Go find the job that is going to give you a sense of purpose for the rest of your life. Go find you the job that's going to make you a decent amount of money for the rest of your life, but don't put that as the top reason for your picking a job. You can make money doing anything, okay? But go make money then doing something that you love. All right, let's talk about jobs versus careers. What's the difference between a job and a career? So as you read through here, I think you're going to find some things interesting. A job refers to the work a person performs for a living. It can also refer to a specific task, but a career is an occupation or a series of jobs that you undertake for a significant period of your time in your life. Okay, so jobs are short-term, careers are long-term. All right, what are the requirements? With a job you can accept with an employer does not necessarily require your special education or training, but a career requires special learning. All right, so jobs you can walk right in, whereas careers require training. A job may be considered a safe and stable means to get income, but they can also quickly change. A career can also have risk. In today's world, employees need to continually learn. Starting your own business can have risks. Many people thrive on risk taking, so they're both risky, but jobs seem to be less risky than careers. The duration of a job may range from an hour to a lifetime. Generally, a job is shorter term. Career is typically a long-term pursuit. Jobs are not career-oriented. Jobs that are not career-oriented may not pay as well as career-oriented jobs. Jobs often pay an hourly wage, whereas career-oriented jobs offer an annual salary, including benefits. And then satisfaction. Many jobs are important in society, but some may not bring high levels of personal satisfaction. Careers allow you to invest time and energy in honoring your craft and experiencing personal satisfaction. Now, I'm going to go a little dangerous here, and I'm going to kind of stick my neck out, and I'm going to say, let's compare two jobs, and let's compare a job and a career. Okay. When you know what, I'm not going to stick my neck out here. I'm going to say my personal history. When I got out of high school, I had several jobs. In high school, I had several jobs. When I was in the summers, I would work in an agricultural-based job where I did a lot of grass planting, where you prepare a field with a specific type of grass for cows. That was a job. Okay, it paid me an hourly wage. My final year in high school, I worked at a grocery store in town. It paid me my bills. It paid me money so I could put gas in my car, and a few other things. These jobs, they weren't designed to take care of me. They weren't designed to provide everything for me. I knew I had to go pick a career, and so my job as a stockman at a grocery store, while paying the bills, was never going to sustain me or my family or allow me to retire. Do you see the difference between a job and a career? Now that I have a career as a teacher, I'm able to make a decent amount of money, I have benefits, and I have a retirement plan. You need a career. Jobs just help you get that career, right? I've had lots of jobs in my life, but none of them I thought, man, this is it long term. I was a bartender through college. Bartending paid pretty good money, but that's all it did was pay me money. It did not provide me a retirement account. It did not provide me health insurance. And you know what? It didn't fulfill me. In fact, I kind of hated it. But it paid the bills. But notice how I used it. Notice what I said. I did it through college. See, too often, many people take the job that they have and think this is going to be their career. And I really don't want you to make that mistake. Go get jobs. Go pay your bills. Go flip burgers and fry French fries and peel shrimp and change tires, whatever it is you need to do. But don't let that turn into your career necessarily. I guess there's a way, there's a path. But make sure that your career, if you can turn your job, if you love it, if you love fixing tires, and you can turn it into a long-term career that pays your bills, provides you benefits, allows you to sustain your family, then okay. And it's something you love. It fulfills you. Then okay, I get it. Do that. Let's see. Here's a video that emphasizes the importance of being passionate about your work. I'm sorry if I made a weird sound. I'm trying to catch a fly. Please watch that. This video, I liked it, and I liked it because it talked about, like I said, being passionate. There was a time, not anymore so much because I've been doing it so long, but there's a time where my passion for teaching was, really something. Now, not so much. I'm ready to move on to other things, but I'm close to retirement, and that's okay. And I still do a good job teaching, I think. I don't know what you guys think, but I still think I do a good job teaching. I just, yeah. So when you choose a career, a couple of things to think about. You're going to spend 76,125 hours of your life at work. Okay, that's 8.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year for 35 years. 76,000 hours. Pick well, because if imagine somebody told you, all right, you're going to have to do something for 76,000 hours, but you can pick whatever you want. Wouldn't you pick something fun? I don't know, like cake decorating or playing baseball. If you do pursue a career, you'll find yourself making many decisions about it. Is this the right job for me? Am I feeling fulfilled and changed? Does this job enable me to have the lifestyle desire? That's good. That's what you should be asking about your career. Any career is a unique process for everyone, and for many people, the task is daunting. The California Community College's Chancellor's Office defined a 5-step process. Get to know yourself, get to know your field, prioritize your deal makers and rule out your deal breakers, make a preliminary career decision and create a plan of action, and go out and achieve your goal. Yeah, that's straightforward. Get to know yourself and the things you're truly passionate about. That would be, again, this is what we've done in this class, kind of. All these little assessments that I've been giving you, that's gathering stuff about what interests and values you have that are career related. Think about what skills and abilities come naturally to you. Okay, I know that I could talk and I could write pretty well, so I knew that it had to be something having to do with working with people. Consider your personality type and how you want to play it out in your role at work. Well, that's poorly worked, but again, my personality type is outgoing. My personality type is enthusiastic, and that made a good teacher. Here's another video on how to match your personality and your skills with career. Please watch it. This is good. I don't mean to just brush past it, but just please watch it. Here's a connection between childhood interests and career options. Great video. Okay. Before moving on to step 2, you may wish to review the online surveys and the personal identity. See, this was all step 1, right? Get to know yourself. Step 2 is get to know your field. Actually, before step 2, we need to do this. So there's a career assessment test and a student interest survey for career clusters. That's just this. Once you finally click enough, you finally get to this page, and it asks you several questions. Okay, circle. Basically, what you do is for everything here that you want to do in this box, you circle it. And how many things did you circle in this box? And write that down. Then go into the next one. Circle everything you like, or everything that applies to you, and write it down. And at the end, you're going to total up 16 boxes. Okay, there's 16 of these squares, and you're going to total them up, and at the end you just write down your top 3. Okay, because whatever, like let's say box 15 was your highest scoring one, that means you would like to be involved in STEM, planning, managing, and providing. Okay, that's where your top 3 career clusters. That's how you do that particular student interest survey. Okay, and the same thing, the career assessment test is a similar pathway. All right, a similar thing. Then you get to know your field. How do you do that? Man, I'd be watching YouTube videos, I'd be reading articles, I'd be talking to people. Okay. Step 3 is prioritize your deal makers. What are the educational requirements, but more? Okay, do you want to work outside or an inside office, in the country or city, in a big or small organization? Do you want to work for the public or for a private company? What type of industry is interesting to you? What role do you see yourself playing in the organization? I'll tell you a quick story. I have a friend who went to college to become a wildlife biologist. Now, when he grew up around Lake Okeechobee, and when he grew up, he spent most of his days outside. He loved being outside. He loved hunting and fishing. He loved walking through the woods. He loved everything having to do with being a young man who could go outside and be in the woods. So when he chose a degree, he chose wildlife management. Now, most of the time when you are a wildlife management person, his first job was driving an airboat around Lake Okeechobee counting alligators. He loved it. His first job was to be outside all day. He would come in, do a little bit of paperwork on a computer, then hop on his airboat and go do these population surveys. His second job, he moved up north around Lake City. His second job, he had 3 pieces of property that his only purpose was to drive, and he got paid well to do this now, was to drive around to these 3 properties and make sure the fences were okay, and to do some population surveys for the wildlife there. This was important work, but look at what it was doing for him. He was outside. Now his third job, and his wife moved up in the government positions, and so they had to move to Tallahassee. He couldn't find any jobs like that. He only found a desk job, and he sat in a desk in a cubicle all day. And one day he called me and I said, dude, what's wrong? And he said, I sit in my chair and I'm on the 3rd floor and I look down the hall and there's a window that I think I could fit through and jump out of. So thinking about what your deal makers are, how would you feel if you had to be outside all day? How would you feel if you had to be stuck inside all day? These are things that you need to be thinking about. And step 4 is make your preliminary career decision. All right. Think about what the choice you made and start coming up with a plan of action and begin working towards it. You should be right about here by the end of this class. At least the point behind the final project, the final presentation, is to make this career decision and start thinking about it, start investigating it, right? That's what step 4 is that's what the final presentation is basically a step 4. It's a preliminary career decision where you are making you start to investigate one specific career. Okay, you'll get the most from sessions with your counselor if you have done some work on your own. To do that, you start using things like Career Cafe or Career Zone. This link I don't think worked, and this link is a little weird, but you can go to it. Career Zone lets you take a look at a career that you love, and hold on, just wanted to let it load. When you get here, you can, this is from California, but you can just this is a little bit broader. This lets you pick an industry. This lets you pick a career. If you've already picked your career, I'd go there and then get started. Anyway, it really helps you to understand a little bit about careers. There's tons of this kind of stuff available out there. Okay, then go out and achieve your goal. The last step is probably the hardest step. It's the one that's going to take the longest, but go get your degree. Go achieve your goal. But do you see how it's nice to know what your goal is, your career goal, before you get started? Do you see how it's nice to have been able to investigate it? How many people end up working at a job just because one day they wake up, they look around, they go, how did I get here? Please don't be that way. Okay? Please take advantage right now of the fact that you are young and you are still basically untethered. And if you are tethered, I know that some of you guys are have kids, but if you're making a fresh start, then go out and take advantage of this and pick a career that is going to fulfill you for the rest of your life. I promise you that when you get to the end of your career, and if you were to ask people at the end of their career, what would be more important in picking a job, making lots of money or being fulfilled, it's a practical guarantee that they'll say being fulfilled. Being fulfilled is a far more important thing to do than to make money. So money is important, but you can be miserable making money, and that's not a very good job. You become depressed. All right, moving on to the next one. M5S5 is career development. Okay, Module 5 S5 is about career development. Quote by Johnny Carson talking about desire. Well, not money. Interesting. We're going to move on though. There are some stages in career development, and we're going to go back to you being a kid. When I was a kid, I was around a lot I wish I were around more, but I was around a lot of people, a lot of different things. You know, I saw a lot of people working in the agricultural community. That's how I grew up. I saw a lot of people doing professional things. My mom was a law enforcement officer. So I had a lot of people around me that might have influenced me. You know, of course, I was around lots of teachers. Think about that when you were a kid. You know, who influenced you? Who did you see when you were a kid and you went, oh man, that looks like a cool job? If you can recall these, that's the beginning stage of your career development. There are 5 main stages, and they each are kind of defined by age. We'll start with stage 1, which is called growing. It's a time in early years. You're between 4 and 13 years old when you begin to have a sense about the future. You actually start thinking, when I grow up, I want to be a. And while I don't like it when people ask this question and expect a serious answer. You know, this is where a lot of people may say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And usually you get a either a very normal job. I want to be a fireman, a policeman, a teacher, a lawyer. Or you get something lofty, like if you'd asked me right here, I'd have said astronaut, right? Could I have been an astronaut? Absolutely. Well, I was too tall, but I could have been an astronaut. But you know, you never get somebody at the growing stage say, I think I want to be a fry chef at a restaurant. You know, I think I just want to cook shrimp all my life. And so think back to that. You know, when you were young, what did you want to be? Surely you had a lofty goal. Phase 2 is exploring. This is from your teen years well into your 20s. You start developing specific interests and aptitudes. That's what one of the functions of school is to try to expose you to things that you may be interested in, your elective classes at school. You may have an after-school job. You may have helped your parents out or helped somebody else out at work, and you may have volunteered in your community, and you're starting to get a feel for what you like. That's part 2, or phase 2. That's exploring. Now, at some point in the exploring phase, you go to college, and so you're kind of in the exploring phase in college, and then you transition out of that in college to the establishing phase. So keep in mind, if you're just now starting college, you're probably in the exploring phase. This is where I want you. I want you to be exploring right now as a result of this class. After that, you're going to be establishing. In your 20s to 40s, you're finally entering a field you consider suitable, and you're exploring job opportunities that will be stable. Now, even at the beginning of your career, you're probably still not totally committed to a job. You pick a job. If you don't like it, you move to the next one, and you may have to move a little bit before you finally hit one that you're like, this is it. This is where I'm happy. This is where I feel fulfilled, right? That's the establishing phase. It could very well go into your 40s, right? So after your 40s, you slip into maintaining. That's where I am now. I'm exactly in between my 40s and my 60s. And you may, I am still learning. I am still staying engaged. But I'm also kind of coasting and cruising, and I'm kind of feeling stagnant. I made a major change this year with my career. I had taught in the same classroom for 23 years. I was starting 24 years. I was starting my 25th year this year. But because of COVID, and that's not why I did it, but because of COVID, my school district started a virtual classroom, and that's my master's degree. So I said, I'd like to try that. So after being in the same classroom for 24 years, I decided that I was going to move. And yeah, so I did make a change. I was feeling stagnant. I was coasting and cruising. I'm in my maintaining phase. Even if I am moving upward, I'm still to some degree maintaining. This idea of maintaining means I have no real interest in totally changing careers. I'm actually putting in an application this week for Florida Virtual School. I may see if they can take me part-time, or I may find a full-time job there. But I'm still going to be doing the same thing. That's what maintaining is. You may move around a little bit, but I'm still going to be doing the exact same thing. I'm a classroom teacher. I'm a virtual instructor. Okay? Step 5 is reinventing. In your mid-60s, you're ready to retire, but retirement doesn't really mean sitting around and doing nothing. You can reinvent yourself. You can start doing a whole new career that you've always wanted, but it required a little bit more risk, and you couldn't afford to take that risk. Something fun like starting a restaurant, or starting some type of cottage industry. And I'm actually planning towards this right now, which is maybe going into the family business of raising cattle, or maybe doing some technology. I'm a licensed drone pilot. I might become a professional drone pilot. I don't know, but that's what's after that. These are the stages, and guess where you are? You're right in the middle of exploring, which is what we're doing right now. Okay, there's a ton of career development resources for you to explore, tons of them. Two we want to talk about are the Career Development Office on campus. We have one. Indian River has a CDO on campus. I don't know where it is. The main campus has it though. Go there, talk to them. There are career counselors that can certainly help you out. And then there's there's all kinds of books, websites, YouTube videos. This one, there's a book called The Secret to Getting a Job After College: Marketing Tactics to Turn Degrees into Dollars. That's a great book if you want to read it, if you're interested. There's a video here that kind of is a commercial for the book. I encourage you to look at that. If you're the type that learns from a book, this may very well be the thing. My wife would love this book because she loves to sit and read, and I do too, just not as much, right? There's a career roadmap from DePaul University. I'm going to pull it up right here, and it tells you, some steps. Step 1 is to know yourself. So that means meet your career advisor. Take an interest finder. We've done this. This DIF, that's just another version of things we've already done in Module 5. Discover your interests and skills in relevant Career Center workshops. Connect your values to your career satisfaction. Look at all this, and even the Myers-Briggs. This is what we've been doing a lot of in this class, right here, this kind of stuff. This is step 1, okay? Step 2, a little bit more exploration. This is kind of what we're doing in Module 5, really. But what we're doing in Module 5 is just an introduction. You should really spend some time doing things like going to the BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, and look at occupational outlook handbooks. ONET, which is something I asked you to do, is career exploration. And there's so much more. And the next thing would be something that I'm not gonna have you do in this class. We do to some degree talk about resumes and cover letters, but this is where you need to start developing yourself, okay? And then step 4 is put it all together, the job search process. So that's that's this 4-step process for career roadmap. The insinuation is after this is all done, you basically should have a job, right? This is part of the job search process. Another one is PDCA, or Plan Do Check Act. This PDCA, by the way, is used often for many things, but this is, you can plan, do, check, and act for a job. You can plan what are your goals and your objectives. You can implement your plan, sell your product, which is you, and there's something here, right here, talking about basically getting ready to sell yourself. Okay, have you ever heard of an elevator pitch? While you don't actually give it in an elevator, your 30-second elevator pitch is part of your resume and your cover letter. If you had 30 seconds to talk to the CEO of the company you want to work at, kind of metaphorically, if you caught them in an elevator and on the way down, what would you say to this person to hire you, right? So you kind of develop that. And I'll just close that crap. Here it is. So you plan. You might try to first find out how to intern or volunteer on a part-time basis. You can learn about the job. You can learn about who you are, what are your goals and objectives. This is all part of the plan process. Then you implement your plan, sell your product, which is you, and then that's part of getting the job. Look at your results so far. Have you done what you wanted? Take a step back. Maybe you got turned down a few times for a job. Okay, rethink. Is this where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing it the way that I thought I should? How could I do it differently? And then finally act. How should you act going forward? What changes in planning, doing, and checking do you want to take? Steps 3 and 4 are kind of reflective. Some people may not have to do so. Some people go get the first job, their job of their lifetime right off the bat, and they just done step parts 1 and 2, and that's it. But most people have to struggle through and keep looking, and get those jobs, work towards the job they want, keep looking, be prepared to make some changes in your life, etc. You may have to move, right? That's what steps 3 and 4 are, is to check and act. Okay. There's a National Career Development Association. That's a website here that you can go to help you maybe do some more career planning. Career planning is tough because you have to do a lot of introspection. You have to do a lot of internal thinking. Okay. But it's still pretty awesome, right? That's why we do things like we have you take courses about your career and maybe different things. We try to give you some diversity. Go get some work experience. Whether it's working in your field or not, you learn these soft skills. Take on some internships, okay, and do some volunteer and service learning. I did a lot of volunteering, and I worked for a local group called the Medical Reserve Corps, and you can go volunteer too. So these are things that you can do to discover and maybe even develop your careers. We're going to jump into networking real fast. And by the way, this is the last study assignment we have. It's on networking. Communication is the key to personal and career success. Wow. Communication is the key to personal and career success. Yeah, I'm going to have to totally agree with that. Networking is the way to go. Networking is the thing to do. This is a little too big. I'm going to shrink it down soon. Get some more. There we go. When you network, you exchange information. You may share business cards, resumes, cover letters, job seeking strategies, leads about open jobs. Maybe you found a job that they even offered you the job and you turned it down. Just because it wasn't right for you doesn't mean it's not right for someone else. And you may have somebody that you met a couple of weeks ago and you're like, dude, this job is perfect for that guy. I'm going to call him and tell him. That's a great thing to do. Okay. You might also share information about meetup groups, conferences, special events, technology tools, social media that helps people find jobs. You might also solicit headhunters, career counselors, career centers, career coaches. There's just so much going on when you start becoming a social networker. Okay? Networking can occur anywhere at any time. You can network with just about anybody. I was in a park one time watching my kids play, and I was just kind of sitting. We were all sitting around one of those swing sets, and there was another person one seat over, and we just exchanged pleasantries for a minute, and then just kind of started talking about our kids. And I found out that this person worked for Indian River State College, and I told them that I did too, and we talked about that. And next thing you know, they're giving me some suggestions on how I can move up a little bit, and it was important. It was good advice that I listened to. All right, you get started by living in a social world and being social. Now today we have so much technology that allows us to be social. It's crazy, and this is where the bulk of your socialization is going to come from. But also be the type of person that smiles, shakes people's hands, finds out who they are, truly listens to them when they're talking to you, and is not selfish in your relationship, meaning you don't want to turn the relationship into being all about you. Instead, what you want to do is you want to truly listen so that these people know that you're interested in them, and then if you can, inject a little bit about yourself. Even if it's someone who you may not necessarily be subordinate to. Like, to some degree, that person in the park, I was kind of subordinate to them, but you may meet just somebody at random, but everybody has something to offer you. Everybody has a piece of advice that's good. Take it, listen to it. Okay, be the type of person that sits and listens, and you're gracious about it. You're really paying attention. I've met people who will listen to me talk, but in their mind, they're not really listening to me. They're just figuring out a way to turn the conversation to being about them. And don't be that type of person. Just listen. You'll learn an awful lot. For every question you may ask, a range of strategies can be used. There's a video right here, called Networking Tips for College Students and Young People by Hank Blank. What a great name, huh? So here's some no-nonsense strategies. Hope's not a plan. Don't just hope that you end up okay. Make a plan, and that applies to everything, but in this case we're talking about your networking goals. Come up with some goals for how to network yourself. You're very good at selling yourself on social media. You've done it before, okay? You share things. You interact with others. Well, LinkedIn is kind of like your social media. You're just basically your fun social media like Facebook, but it's for this very thing. It's for networking and looking for jobs. Part 2 is keenly focus on your activities on getting a job. Use all tools available to you. That's straightforward. You need business cards. You need them. Don't try to fake it. Don't try to, go to, what's that one site that everybody uses? The card making site. I'll figure it out in a minute. Go to a card making site, spend $50 and get yourself 500 cards or 5,000 or whatever they sell, and get you some business cards and hand them out freely. Okay, you never know. It'll be the best $50 you invest. Register your own domain name. Find your favorite geek to build you a landing page if you're not the favorite geek, and keep building your site for the rest of your life. Have a website for yourself. Now, I haven't done this, but I come from an old world. Okay, it wasn't required for me, but I may have to, because I'm in that next stage of developing my career, and I may have to if I want to do something post-retirement, right? Attend networking events. Most of them offer student rates. You may have to drive. We don't have a lot of networking events in Okeechobee, but they have them on the coast. They have them at IRSC. If you live over there, you can find them. Master LinkedIn. I can't impress upon you with this enough. LinkedIn is kind of like your own digital, it's kind of like a cross between Facebook and your own digital resume. And I would encourage you to update your LinkedIn. It's becoming more relevant now than ever. Okay? Think of your parents' friends as databases. Learn from them. See if they're willing to help you. Be gracious and congenial, but also don't be afraid to take help. And don't be afraid to ask for help. The older you get, the more you realize that helping people, younger people, break into a career is a good thing. And so lots of people are willing to do it. So create the world you want to live in the future by creating it today through your networking activity. This is you taking charge. So go do it, okay? Let's see. If you're an international student, perhaps English is not your native language, this video may appeal to you. It focuses on the importance of networking when looking for jobs and keeping an open mind. I've met a lot of students that have, they're not, I don't want to say disadvantaged. I've met a lot of students that have, I'm going to say a disadvantage because I can't think of a better word, because they're not from America, they're not from Florida, their English is a second language, they have some other type of, maybe a disability, okay, and I've seen them be highly successful because they come here, they work hard, and they network. All right, now let's talk about professional networks, because we've kind of been leading up to how to network, but you're going to be building a professional network. Networking is getting to know your professors, talking to your college's alumni office, checking with your classmates. These are people that you start talking with, and creating lifelong connections. I still have professors that I speak to after 20 years. Okay, I still have classmates that I speak to after 20 years, and we're friends on LinkedIn, and I keep an eye on them, and they keep an eye on me. Friends I went to school with in high school, local people I've worked with. These are great ways to maintain a professional network. Other ways would be to join professional organizations such as Rotary Club, Kiwanis, that sort of thing. Volunteering is a great way. I've done a lot of networking with people just by volunteering my time. You may remember me telling you a story about working right alongside the mayor on some volunteer work that we did, food distribution, and it was just one of those things. I'd brought my daughter, and we would one Saturday a month distribute food, and the mayor was always there, and that guy knows me. That guy checks with me on Facebook. How you doing? Okay. Get an internship. There's a lot of great ways to do that. I never did an internship, but I did substitute teach, and that was similar to an internship, although that was paid. But I learned a lot from that. I made a lot of connections from there. One of my best friends still today, I met substitute teaching, and it created a relationship that's lasted a long time, and it's more than just professional. This person is such a good friend to me and my family. We just went camping over the Thanksgiving weekend with this person, right? Get a part-time job. That's for me, that would still be doing the substitute teaching. It helps you kind of fill in the cracks. I learned a lot about teaching by substituting. What would be your version of that for your job? I've never heard of a job club in my life, but it sounds kind of cool, especially if you kind of join a club that has the same kind of people in it that are looking for the same kind of jobs. And remember, while this may be a competition, it's not really. Helping people get a job is going to help you get a job. I promise you it works that way. Okay? There are networking events. There are job fairs, that sort of thing. And there are informational interviews. You can actually just talk to people. Networking strategies at home and beyond. Things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all these social networks. There's an extensive list at Career One Stop. So yeah, be on social media. You already know how to use it. Now let's take that skill and apply it to being professionally, literally linked in, and you can do a lot more work, get a lot more exposure. Look at magazine articles. Ask family members, friends, coworkers, acquaintances for referrals. Use business cards or networking cards. We kind of already covered that, but man, create a business card and put as much information on there as you can without it looking busy. Okay. Man, look at all these resources that you could have. Career counselors, websites, family members. We kind of listed all these already. But here's a weird one. Guest speakers. If you're in a class where a guest speaker comes and talks to the class, that guest speaker came there with the intention, unless they say they didn't because they don't have time, they came there with the intention of taking questions. And I guarantee you that if you wanted to stay after class and talk to them, they would spend 10 minutes with you, just as an example of how you can get some networking done. And one final thought. There's this video called Hustle 101, Networking for College Students, Recent Grads. You should watch it. It's a recent college graduate and the founder of some NY Creative interns. It's dedicated to helping young creatives discover and follow their dream careers. It's a good video. Okay. You're going to need to network. Either before you get a job or after you get a job, you're going to need to network. My professional network is large. I know tons of people from various things I volunteered for. I have professional network friends all the way out across the country, and believe it or not, even internationally. I know people internationally. I know that if I ever ended up in Amsterdam, I have a friend there that I could help, or that I could tap to help me get started. I don't think I'm ever going to, but I've got a friend in Amsterdam. I've got several friends in Canada and a few in Mexico, only because I have, over my life, volunteered and kind of cultivated these relationships, whether it was face-to-face, which is mostly what I did, or electronically. And I encourage you to do that as well. Okay, let's look at the last assignment. And I didn't mean to say last assignment because you still have the career project, but this is the last assignment before the big project. And it's pretty much simple, straightforward. It's analysis and evaluation of a career choice.